Nice Shorts theme song.
Nice shorts. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us and coming to hang out with us today. Would you like to first tell us a bit about you and your film?
Yeah, okay. So my name is Vera van Wolferen. I'm from the Netherlands. The film we made is 18 and a half minutes. So that's for animation so long. It's a film for kids and it's a hybrid. Everything's made out of paper and then we did a hybrid that looks like stop motion, but it's also digital 2D animation.
Oh, okay.
Um,
The film is called
Down in the Dumps. Yeah.
Thank you.
When you so you do the paper, did you photograph the paper, scan it, and then kind of put like pins in to animate it like it was paper moving in Blender, or what'd you do it in?
We rigged in Moho.
Moho, okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
You spent 5 years making it, right?
Yeah, it's
Ew.
not like a 5-year production, but from the start, in the Netherlands, we have a film fund, and you first apply with your story, and then you get a
Hmm.
little bit of funding to develop, and
mm.
then you get some funding to make an animatic, and then you get all the funding to do the production.
I see you have a screenwriter, but the story, is that come from you or come from some connections? How does it formed? And you are the director for that.
Yeah, so it came from an idea I had. I often come up with sort of visual concepts that I have. So there was the
Makes sense.
ladybug, yeah.
Mhm.
And then that she was depressed. That was the given. I wanted to talk about two kids about having heavier feelings and how to
Hmm.
deal with them. And
Yeah.
then I take the first ideas that can be really random and just images to the screenwriter we're
Mhm.
now working on our fourth film together.
Oh
Mm.
wow.
And then the producer, and we're all women kind of the same age, and we're also friends. So we have a really good chemistry, and then we sit down. And then Britt is really good in bringing the conflict and story, and then we kind of figure it out together. She's definitely the writer and comes up with a lot. But then Chris, the producer, and I always give feedback, and then together we kind of, this feels right, or it should be more like this, or this scene
Yeah.
doesn't work, or what if this happens?
You said you come from the more visual aspect. If you were doing it on your own, you'd be all boards, right? In animatic.
Hmm.
Is the script because of voice actors, or is it because of having to submit a written script for the grants? Like, why do you go to a script based?
Oh, yeah, good question. That's the way we work because Britt is really a screenwriter. She also writes feature films, live action, and
Hmm.
series. And I think it's also demanded by the Dutch Film Fund. So they give us the funding for the film and they
Okay.
want a script.
Is there anything you've noticed? Because having someone who writes for live action, where you're coming from writing for animation, which feels, when you see the scripts, so different.
Mm.
How does that work in your development of it?
Yeah, Britt really, really writes very visually, very funny. So, like, when I read her script, I see the images.
Okay.
So
Mm.
she is really good in writing for animation, but sometimes we were like, I think the cave scene in Down and Dumps first was like tear and water and pools reflecting and dripping. We're like, no, that's not going to happen.
You're like, that's
So,
another year and a half. No,
uh,
thank you.
so those kinds of things that from this animation perspective, you're like, that's crazy production wise.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk more about the ladybug and also about the mental health? What it occurs to you to form this character?
I think it's kind of our goal to make films for kids that are serious and also about serious topics, taking kids serious. There
Mhm.
was a really cool TV channel when we were younger that would broadcast. I think now people would say, "Oh, that's not suitable for kids," but it was the stuff that really stuck with us, and we're still talking about it. How great it was, and it was kind of raw, and it was honest.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we maybe sugarcoat or polish things too much for kids.
Mhm.
I don't think this is a very, very rough film, but we wanted to talk about it's okay. You can feel unhappy. And I also went through, yeah, moments in my life. I think when you are like becoming a teenager can be a really difficult time in your life when everything changes. And I really remember that my mom always used to say, like, one day you're going to feel really, really bad. and just know it's going to be okay, even if you think it will never change or if it's the worst, it will get better.
Mm,
And it really stuck with me. So it was kind of something you want to say to kids, you know?
yeah.
It's better if you share. And in the end, we're all people and we all have these feelings. And it's
Yeah.
better if we're like open and vulnerable and then we can help each other. And then you know you're not alone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this film for me is for a family, like no matter what age it is. And I'm so appreciate that you respect kids' intelligence. They can tell a story and you are giving hints. The ladybug is not directly talk what happened, but you can just feel it through her emotion and you
Mm.
can observe for that. Like definitely I believe kids can capture that and it becomes such a good conversation for people who ever watch this film.
In like
Thank you.
a brief moment of like a old Greek tragedy of like, we'll just send you to the netherworld for a moment.
Yeah. But it's maybe also nice to know that we did also some audience testing with kids, also with the animatic phase.
Hmm.
I haven't heard of that for an animation before on something like that. How did that go?
Yeah, it was the scariest thing I've ever done because kids are very honest. They see a lot, they see a lot more
Yeah.
than I think than grown-ups. They also get much more because I think grown-ups we're like we project a lot of stuff that we've already seen and then we want to place it somewhere and kids are just like this is what happens. I get
Mm.
it. But this was a very rough animatic and then only my voice doing all the acting. And
Mhm.
then we just my producer got all kinds of kids that are in like a summer daycare to go
Mm.
into cinema and watch this product, this animatic, just sketches, and then one person doing voices with some sound effects. But we learned a lot from
That's cool though.
this.
Like a story
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So
Also, the design of the cockroach, they called him a weird chicken before because he had very weird jumpy legs. So we're like, okay, we have to change the design of the cockroach. It doesn't work. What is
what's
the
up?
weird chicken doing
Yeah.
there? I'm like, oh no. Yeah, and then later also we like sometimes ask the kids of people that work on the film or that we know. And we had a character in one of the versions of the film. There was a, I think Sinelli has a relief cry at the end,
Mm.
and that's not something that kids understand. So we had to change it. But it's good to test with your audience, you know, how
Yeah.
they understand the film.
That must have just been a very unique experience. Would you do that
Yeah.
again?
Yeah. Not for fun, but to make it better, to challenge yourself.
Just crying in front of kids, pretending nothing's wrong. Yeah, it's yes, it does look like
Yeah.
a big crazy chicken. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. We have really great voice actors. There's not that much dialogue, but we had 4 hours of recordings of sentences, random things, and also
Mm.
improvised parts. So most of the things are improvised. Also, lots of jokes that are in there. The actor is a famous comedian in the Netherlands, and he just like came up with all these jokes. And sometimes I just use them in a different scene.
Mm.
So with every scene we do uh, is improvised, and then we also have them do the scene a couple of times, like maybe 10 times, and every time the scene is different tone of voice, so we had lots of materials to cut from, so some scenes are just completely cut together.
Do you show them the character designs and all that stuff too?
We had the animatic there,
Mm.
but then we didn't use it because it also influences the way they act, and then they're going to try to fit the sentences into the scenes, and that's not
Mm.
what we wanted to just have a lot. So especially when there's the two characters were together,
Mhm.
whenever they play together, they are together in the room. So,
Oh, that's cool.
so they interact,
Yeah.
and that really gives it a more lively feeling. You can feel the chemistry, and then they're joking, and then sometimes you even use some things of that.
Yeah, I really enjoy not only all the visual but also the audio. Like they really match together so perfectly. For these characters, even they have oh the sign. I just feel so loving them. Like I feel like it's
Yeah,
not acting. I care for that person.
But it's also, finding the right person. And it's a
Mm.
kind of funny. We actually had a different Sinelli first that we didn't cast well, so it didn't work. She
Oh.
was a pretty young actress that we really liked, but then we discovered when she came in to do the voice acting that we liked the character she played in another thing, and the emotional takes weren't that strong. And then I gave a papercraft workshop somewhere, and then there for a group of influencers, and there was Yuta Wongloy Singh. She is the actress of Sinelli. And we
Oh,
just got talking, and she really liked the papercraft thing. And she was like, "Did you make this?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you do?" And she said, "I'm an actress." I said, "What? I'm
wow.
looking for an actress."
Yeah.
And I just really liked her energy and her voice. And she did also voice for different animations. So it was kind of a coincidence, but I think she fit really well.
That it,
So,
Oh,
yeah, she
that's
does.
unexpected. Like she meant to be part of the story. Like you,
yeah,
yeah, you found each other.
yeah, it's really, funny how it works.
You
And
literally
then,
crafted it. Yeah.
yeah.
That means you also have one of the few inside aspects that a lot of people don't have is how strange every vocal sound is until you have it to a picture. Like when you're just listening to vocalizations, you're like, they all sound so weird, like someone's dying or something. And then you put it to the picture, and you're like, oh, it's totally innocent though.
Yeah, but you can even use the end of a laughter for crying too, you know? You could just if you
Ah,
use it, it works. But definitely that could be maybe also a tip for animators if you are recording sounds to also include some tracks where the characters are just breathing, and then we do like you're running or like you're
Hmm.
active. And because
mhm.
I think we had a running scene that was the opening scene of the film, so we had lots of breathing sounds for the running, and the scene didn't make it, but I used a lot of that sound in different scenes.
Yeah, they add
Yeah.
so much.
I also definitely want to talk about the dance move. Like
Mm.
that's something so memorized in my brain. Like, and I go with that music. That's such a great job. I want to shout out to the animator. Every box have different dance move. Please tell us more about it.
I want to see the live action references of all of those.
Yes. Yeah, I have them in a folder. It was
Oh,
also this part of the process where you're all like, I think the producer had a really bad flu and both her kids were sick, and everybody was kind of taking turns being sick and just at a low point. And then the animation director who did this, Jasper Kuiper, did a really great job. And they just kept coming in on the Dropbox, just like maybe this. And he even told us that he was so sore after this day of dancing.
oh,
Yeah,
love it.
it's so much fun.
Oh, how about the lighting though?
Oh, this looks so
Yeah.
good.
It's so grounded. They are so believable on the set. I didn't know it's made by, yeah, you composite together.
Yeah. So also for every set we had a stand-in character. So just one that's really glued together that we put in the set for reference. And then we
Okay.
put white plates in the set to catch the how the shadows and light were falling as a reference.
Hmm.
And then we also drew out where the lights were standing in the studio for the compositor. So we had an idea of the amount of lights and the kinds of lights. In After Effects we did the shadows, but
Hmm.
sometimes they were cut from a shadow plate that we made. So we made a plate where it was darker, so you had the real
Oh, yeah.
information in the shadow sometimes. But it's a
Okay.
mix of all because it really depends on where the character is, how the shadow falls. So mostly it's composited. And then also for the rendering, it was also tedious. They have so many limbs,
Oh yeah, yeah,
arms, and then the shadows from the arms
yeah.
they had a pivot point, but they're not like a drop shadow. They're like in 3D space, so it looks real. So it looks like the arm is moving forward. That was crazy
Your
amount of
next
work.
your next film, everyone is a ball. That's it. Just a ball.
Just a ball, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make life very hard for yourself. So I thought of one tip that's great. And I'm not sure if it's animation, but it's for behind the scenes and for structuring things.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay.
I'm telling this to everybody because the compositor came up with this and I thought it was so smart. But you always have your shot list, right?
Hmm.
And you always want to add more shots. So you should never name your shots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because
Uh-huh.
then where does the extra shot go? I've had films where it was like shot 1.2.1, and then it gets really messy. So if you name the first shot 100 and the second one 200, There's a lot of like frames in between that you can add. And even then, if you have like shot 150, you can still make another 175. And then, you can
Yeah.
always add more shots without your whole structure
That
being a
is
mess.
I also want to ask you about the paper. They are so neat and clean and also contain so much textures in this film.
I design a lot of the models in 3D first, and I make a blueprint, and then the blueprint is cut by this paper plotter. So that makes it very
Precise.
precise and clean. All the textures come from actually painting all the paper by hand. So it's watercolor and then adding textures with sponges and brushes.
how thick is your paper then? Because it doesn't warp at
Yeah,
all from the like what stock are you using?
200 grams. And it's watercolor paper. I really
Mm.
like this texture that it has. It's really specific. It was a fun detail to. I really thought about it a long time how I could make the house of the ladybug because it had to look like the inside of a tree and kind of have this woodcut texture.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things I design can be very square and very flat. But this had to be organic. So in the end, I carved it out of foam that you also use to insulate your house because it's pretty cheap, cheaper than architectural foam. Another tip, if you.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
But then I wanted to cover it with the same texture paper, but the paper is really thick. So I wanted to do like a paper mache, but it didn't work with the thickness of the paper. So we actually had to like make the paper wet, peel off the part that was painted, so it was really thin, and then we could do a paper mache effect on this foam. Everything's made out of paper and by hand. I think that's cool to know.
Hey, Shinelli! Hey, jongens! Hey, hoe is ie? Oh, ja, voor mij. Zelf gemaakt. Heb je dit zelf gemaakt? Wow. Ja, vind je wat?
Vet hoor, gaaf.
Ik ben zo blij dat ik ben uitgenodigd. Nee, natuurlijk.
Zo, mag ik er ook een?
Ik heb niet meer.